Hello girls, it's Tuesday. So this week's theme is crazy work stories. The first one that always pops in my mind is when I worked at Cali. It was during a particular busy time, I think, because I was in just get them into the rafts, get as many in as possible, hurry, hurry, hurry mode. And there was this guy, he didn't speak English very well, and he had a kid that had an orange wristband on. And the orange wristbands meant that you had to sit down behind a lap bar. And so I pulled down the little orange lap bar on the raft and talked to the dad first and told him to sit in the seat with the orange bar and his son would sit behind the orange bar. So then I turned around and went to talk to the next set of guests. When I turned back to the raft, the father had put his son in the center compartment in the raft because there was an orange bar that encircled the entire center compartment. And I'm just staring at this kid in the center compartment, thinking to myself, how in the world could you possibly think that the storage compartment is the special seat? And how do I tell this person in a Disney non-accusatory way that that's the wrong seat? Because what I'm thinking right now is, oh my god, you are a dumbass, that is not a seat. But apparently my face said everything, because the dad just kind of took one look at whatever expression was on my face staring at this and went, that's not right, is it? And then I just kind of laughed and directed him to the correct seat, kind of shaking my head. But I'm like, sometimes I think that the guests leave their brains behind when they go on vacation. I literally had a guy one time, I think I was in the guide position where you send them to the rafts, but I'm not entirely positive. But after a while of watching the kids, you can just kind of tell at a glance that the kid is too short to ride. You don't even necessarily need to look at the height stick. You just know the kid's too short. And this kid was like an inch or two too short to ride, and I could just tell by glancing at him. And I measured him, because there's a height stick down there, just in case it does manage to get all the way down there without getting stopped. And, of course, he was too short. So I had the dad and the kid stand aside, and I said, the kid's not tall enough to ride, and I'm sorry that you got this far. You shouldn't have even got past the entrance, but... Anyway, so he's arguing with me, and I'm like, you want to talk to a manager? So... I have somebody call a manager, because my position, I couldn't leave that position, so you had to have somebody else do it. And I'm sitting here sending people to rafts, and the dad takes the opportunity. He thinks that nobody is looking, and he sees a raft that is no longer attended by a cast member, and he runs over there with his kid who's too short to ride and tries to sneak into the raft. And we had to stop the turntable. And then he refused to leave the freaking raft, which of course causes a ride stop after a while because the rafts can't go anywhere. So we got a ride stop, and this guy is refusing to get out. Finally, the manager had to make him get out and like threatened to escort him out with security. But I was like, really? Really? Why? Why are you trying to risk your child's life to go on a stupid ride? Because they're not realizing, they're just like, I paid all this money, I want my kid to go on the ride. They don't realize the reason the height limit is there is to help prevent your child from dying on the ride. And I just don't understand why they can't fathom this, but it's just they leave their brains behind on vacation. And they think they can get away with pretty much anything. One time I was in the tower where you're watching the cameras, and I watched these teenagers basically surf down. There's a little ramp where the raft goes down a little drop thing. And they unbuckled their seatbelts and they stood up as they were going down the ramp. And of course, at that point, there's no way for me to do a ride stop to stop it because the there's a stopping point right before the drop, but they unbuckled and stood up during the drop, and the next stopping point isn't until they get to the turntable. And they were all in the raft at the end of this, so I ended up having to call the manager, and like the manager and security were waiting to escort them when they got off the raft, and they actually got their entire school group banned from the ride for the rest of the day because of what they did. So that was really intense. But I just don't understand why people leave their brains behind on vacation. I understand that you want to have fun and everything, but sometimes these things that they're doing go against common sense, and you just kind of want to, like, face palm because of the way that they're acting. Anyway, so those are my fun work stories. Still not feeling too great, but I'm working on it. I really enjoyed seeing you last week, Betty, and actually getting to see Danny for the first time. Hey, I'm Betty's crazy friend from high school. And I miss you guys so much. Mom and I are still working on the house hunting front. We're having issues trying to figure out how we're going to afford a home, but I'm still hoping and praying that I can find a way to live in the Sacramento area so that I'm close to the doctors, and even more importantly, I'm close to my twinsies. Plus, it would be a lot closer to the Sacramento airport if I was able to get, like an Elizabeth flying in. Anyways, I love you girls, and I will see you next time. After I post this, or while it's posting, I will discuss next week's theme. Okay, bye. Where is the record button? Hey, Spunkers. You good boy. You want to say bye to everybody? Want to say bye? Say I love you. Say I love you. Okay, bye.